Well, I'm out at least. I'm out in the snow. I didn't manage to get out last week. Well, I sort of half did. This is what happened. Oh, well, this is really irritating. I was dropping my mum down in Barnstable, so I've made the trip down to Dartmoor to try and get camping. But I've arrived at site and it's absolutely howling through here. The wind is blowing, gusting up to 40-50. It's really grey. Try and show you what I mean. Pretty leery over that way. And even worse over that side. So the lightweight tents that I brought with me, I've got 3 different types, and they would all be trashed in this sort of level of wind. So I think I've got to pull the pin and just abandon this one. I'm not risking destroying my gear for a cold and windy night on a tour. Damn. I was really looking forward to that. Okay, well, it's just the way it goes sometimes. Bit of a shame, but there we are. So we'll call this an abandon and begin the long drive back up to Mid Wales. What a shame. Maybe I'll get out again next weekend. So yeah, that didn't really work. Anyway, since then we've had 2 big loads of snow, including a storm, which means this. Pretty much everywhere has a good covering. It's been a few days, so there's been a bit of rain and a bit of melt off, but should be a good bit of snow. So normally I would drive right the way up and round, but I think today the prudent thing is not to do that, just in case. Anyway, as per normal, some new stuff to check out. I'm using a different backpack today, which I'll explain later. I've got the Nortemp with me because it's cold temperatures, and you just never know whether we're going to get more snow on these higher areas later on or not. We'll see. But yeah, I've got something very interesting to test that, as far as I know, only one other YouTuber has tested so far. So we'll go into that in a bit. Anyway, I need to get my stuff on and hike up and round, find a spot, try and get pitched. Right then. Let's roll. As you can see, someone's been up in a truck already, so we've slightly got tyres through my Highlander, so with a little bit of melt, quite crusty. That direction's the Brecon Beacons. So all that big lump of cloud is being thrown up from the beacons. You can see some footprints, dog prints, which I didn't come up far. Okay, getting slippy. Put you on for a sec. So, interesting, as I come up here, it is mostly ice with the top layer of snow, but I'll come up to my camping spot and it's the only place around where the snow's gone, which is pretty cool in one way, but I was sort of looking forward to having a snow camp, if I'm honest. Oh, new hat, Christmas, father-in-law, thank you. Oh, got a few bits. Most of the bits I've already bought. Realistically, if I wanted something, I bought it over this year, which is fine. Right. Hopefully you all had a good Christmas and stuff, New Year and blah blah blah. Whatever it is you did, wherever you went, however much you drank and ate. Hope it was alright. Oh, it's been a little while since I managed to get out, so I'm a bit out of breath. That's not the reason, I'm just a bit unfit. Anyway, got a bit of a ZZ Top look today. Not a terrible idea. I need to get this tent pitched and then we'll be good to sit and talk. Oh, just out of interest, if you're watching this video and you're not a subscriber, can you press the subscribe button? There's like 90% of people that watch my videos haven't subscribed. It's totally free, costs you absolutely nothing. You won't be bombarded if you don't tick the alert bell. You won't be bombarded every time I post. That's entirely up to you. But if you could subscribe, that would be awesome. The numbers are good. I'm on about 360 as of today subscribers, which is not bad in 10 months, 11 months. I didn't expect that, so that's cool. But I get a lot more people viewing than subscribe, so if you can, that'd be awesome. Right, let's get this tent sorted. New pack today. So this is the Nature Hike 60 litre plus 5 build as. The rock, sorry. Nice. So I decided that the Osprey was just too much for me. I didn't need it. So we got rid of the Osprey. Decided to get this instead. I'm just sending this up all the way. They're a good size. Just a shame that because of all the snow, I had to bring the big tent, the big heavy tent. Really, I wanted this for lightweight work, but you know, that's the way it goes. So I'm quite happy with it so far. I will say I'm comparing it to that Royal Mountain pack I got from Temu. There are bits on the Royal Mountain pack that I prefer. So I'll do a side-by-side review at some point. Anyway, let's get this tent done. Oh, right, well that's the tent up anyway. I've not guyed anything out because it's absolutely dead still today. I'll check the weather forecast again later and just see where we are. Right, first thing, new sit pad thing, sort of chair, inflatable chair thing. Let's see what it's done. Hopefully, should be a little bit more comfortable. It does come with an inflation bit, which I'm not going to use, obviously. Like one of those hand pump things, they're always useless. Oh. Let's take the frame up. Right, where's my pump? Really, that should mean I can sit in the chair. Just to loosen the straps. We'll see how well this works. Well, I will be honest, that's a hopeless position, wasn't it? Let's try that again. Oh, there we are. Right, well, that's the first battery change of the day. In the cold weather, in any bloody weather to be honest with GoPros, the batteries just don't last very long. In the cold they give up at like 30%, which is infuriating sometimes, but there we are. That's why you have more than one battery. Try and keep them a bit warm. Oh, that's a horrible angle. Let's try and change that. There we are. Right. A bunch of little new things this week. Here's the first one. If I can get it. Bought a very lightweight camp light. It should be good enough. Ugh. No idea how long it'll last. Guess we'll find out later. Didn't bring any of my other big lights this time. I was trying to be a bit lighter, but there we are. It hasn't really worked because I've had to bring the big good tent. Oh well, I'll tell you what I might do. I might try and open that other door. Let's do that. A little bit more lighting. Yeah, so as I say, in this chair, it's okay. Seems to be holding my weight just about so far, which is a bonus. We'll see. We'll see how we get on with that. Right. Let's have a check on the weather. Whew. Currently 3 degrees, feels like 2 degrees. Down to 0 as soon as it gets dark. Might get down to about -1-ish. Might be some snow overnights. Might be some rain overnight. The wind does start to pick up though. Overnight and into tomorrow. Right, so just to be sensible, I'll put out a few guys. Don't need to go mad. I'll do that now before I think about it, or I forget about it rather. Get all the vents open. Yeah. Get some guys out. Maybe a cup of coffee. Next little bit you haven't seen. Some new trekking poles. These are carbon fibre ones. Just that little bit lighter. These are really for going away with. We've got a trip to Norway, cruise to Norway, coming up in March, April. That's what these are for. Okay. Alright, it's coffee time. And I'll show you all the other bits and pieces I've got in a bit. I'm still using the alcohol stove at the moment. Just because of the weather really. It's too cold to be faffing around with gas if I don't need to. I'm only boiling water. And I'm in no rush. Well, let's have a look at this new backpack. So, here it is. That's a terrible angle, hang on. There we are. So, this is the Nature Hike. 60 litre plus 5. So 60 in the body, 5 in the pocket at the back. It weighs 1.16 kilos, whereas my other one was 1.18, so it's very slightly lighter, and that's just the material. This is a nylon, I think, 420D nylon. The other one was a X-Pact. Oh, yeah, so let's just find an angle that's not completely rubbish. There we are. So far I like the pack. It was a decent price. Did a whole bunch of YouTube scanning for it. Outdoor Gear Review didn't like it at all, but that was a review that was 4 years old, I think. It might have been a previous version. Some of the things he was saying have changed on this pack, on this version. Novice Wild Camper has loved his. He's been using it for months, so that was a good thing for me. Roll down the valley here and have a look at the snow. So that's always difficult in winter when you're carrying winter rated bags and things, sleeping bags and sleep mats. But there are some things you can do to keep the weight down. Tents are always quite a lump of your weight. Now obviously I brought the Nor tent, which is 3.6, but actually it's probably more than that with the footprint. So got a lovely cloud inversion. Right, I'll show you that. Hang on. You can just see the cloud inversion down the valley there. It creeps through. I can feel the temperature starting to drop now. That cloud inversion's lovely though. I hope it comes out on the camera. It's pretty awesome. Anyway, let's move over this side. Yeah, so choosing to take Nor tent for this camp meant that my weight was really quite high. I think it was up to about 14 kilo-ish, just on, which is okay. That's what the bag's rated for actually, so it's not too terrible. I'm very tempted to walk back down to the car and get the drone, but I can't be bothered. Maybe tomorrow. Yeah, so when I first planned this camp was when they were saying that Storm Goretti was about to hit and all that sort of stuff, and it did hit us, and we got a bit more snow and some more wind and an awful lot of rain, which then ruined the whole thing. So yeah, I was sort of planning to be well sub-zero temperatures all day, all night, sleeping on snow and all that sort of stuff, which I don't think I've got any issues with that today, especially since I've got a lovely dry patch there without snow on it. Nice little fluke. So you do tend to overpack a little. That's just the way it goes. There we go. Trying to do some artsy shots. Well, my beard is of course a condensation magnet. I'm not dribbling. That is just condensation. I am fully expecting the tent to be a little damp tonight, certainly in the morning, and I've got some things to plan to deal with that. I'll show you in a minute. Very quiet here today. No wind at all, which is fantastic. I think the wind's going to change later though. Hoping you can see the view. Anyway, this year I want to try and adapt my camping a little bit more. The first year, last year, really know what I was up to most of the time. And I was changing gear and testing gear and seeing what I liked and what I didn't like and all that sort of stuff. And now I know some of it anyway. I think I've probably got a good array of tents for all seasons and all conditions and all campsites, bar one. Now, I've got the Nortent Verm one, which is fantastic, and that's a gnarly weather camp tent setup. But I think what I want is one more. It'll have to be a 4-season one that can stand up to a bit of rain and wind, but is an awful lot lighter than the Nortent. One I can walk in with a little bit more, one that doesn't trash my pack weight completely. And I'm not talking about Hilleberg, unless a Hilleberg Solo or Acto comes up that's ridiculously cheap and nobody's noticed it on eBay, then I might. Other than that, I'm not going for that. I was looking at a tarp tent, Scarp one, but that went too high on the price. And I'm not entirely sure that's a fully 4-season. It is, it's got crossing poles and such, but we'll see. Not sure yet. I still have a couple of tents that you haven't seen. Now, one of them was going to be used at Dartmoor before, the raging wind stopped all that. One of them I've had for a very long time now, which is a Lanshan 2, which is really a summer tent. I'm looking forward to doing that in summer. We'll see. Right. Sun's about to go behind the mountains, so I need to get the rest of my gear sorted. Show you the next thing. Okay, new bit of kit. Sleeping mat, new sleeping mat. And this is the Highlander. It's called Nap Pak. Let me just check that. The temperature's dropping, my hands are cold now. Nap Pak. This is 900 grams, so it's not a lightweight one, 10 centimetres thick, but has an R value of, wait for this, 11. I've never seen one with these with an R value that high. Some of the thermarests go up to about 8. I know that Nature Hike think they've got one at 8.5, but people have reviewed and say it's nowhere near. Anyway, I've got the normal ZenBV setup. I do have is one slight difference on the pillows. So I've still got the Flex Tail pillow, but I've swapped out the memory foam one for a Cedar Summit Eros Premium large pillow. So we'll see how that goes tonight. See if that makes a difference. Right, let's have a look at this new pillow. Temperature's definitely dropping now. The large isn't very large, let's say that. Not bad though. Not bad size. The key here is the weight. The memory foam pillow is nice. It's comfy and stuff, but it's quite weighty, quite bulky. And this just isn't. So it does make a difference. What other new stuff have we got? Oh, I've got this, which is a USB heat pad. It weighs almost nothing at all, but I figured that might be nice for later. Okay, that's enough for now. I need to get myself sorted and ready for bed. Temperature's definitely dropping. Time to put another layer on. Just a simple, not very expensive regatta fleece. So I've got a merino layer first, then a simple lightweight wicking layer, synthetic, and then the fleece, and then obviously I've got my down jacket for later, which I can sleep in or not. It's entirely up to me later. But yeah, should be fine. Should be warm enough anyway. It is getting chilly though. Do another battery change in a second. But, you know, I'm warm enough. I've got gloves to put on in a sec. Down booties, down trousers, and down jacket for later. So peaceful up here. Lovely. I know I have one more thing. There's always one more thing. This is from 3FUL. It's a gimmick. I don't know if it'll make any difference at all. But what it is a little cover for your foot box. And you cinch it up around your foot box. And then the idea being it's a waterproof-ish layer for if your feet are touching the outsides of your tent, especially with a single skin tent like this. And it should keep some of the moisture away. I'm going to put that on now. There you go. Just a little cover for the foot box. Should work perfectly in here. So this inflatable chair Actually quite comfy. It's a little weighty, a little bulky, because it's got some, I presume, plastic stays in the sides, just to give it a bit more rigidity. So it's got a little weight to it, but it's not too bad. It's still lighter than carrying my lightest chair, I think. Maybe? Don't know. Yeah, it is. So, definitely worth using. The little USB heat pad, that was a Temu or AliExpress, I think, maybe one or the other, can't remember. Probably AliExpress, that one. But it's not exactly chucking out a load of heat, but in theory it should be enough to give me a little bit of a warm start in the quilt, especially on top of the R11 mat. We will see how that performs later. Ooh. Let's see if I can find a better angle for the camera. A little better. Yeah. Tempted to have another drink, but I'm not entirely sure why I didn't add more fuel to my fuel canister. A bit silly. There we are. I'll leave it for now, I don't need one. Anyway. Yeah, so this year, actually, let's talk about last year. So I started filming camps in February, I think, end of February. Yeah, something like that. And yesterday's short that I posted on the pack was my 100th upload, which coincided with 85,000 views out of 359 subscribers, which is pretty good for me for 1 year. Is this niche? I don't know. I suppose it is. I'm not yomping up the mountains, am I? There's plenty of other younger, fitter campers and hikers and backpackers that can go and do that for YouTube. You don't need me doing that. It was a good camping year. I don't know how many camps I got. 12 maybe? 14, 15 maybe? I don't know. Quite a lot here at this permission spot. A few at the other permission spot before it was trashed by all the wind. And blew a whole load of trees down, which made the good spots disappear. Anyway. And a few, 2 or 3 over at Brecon. 3, I think. 3 down at Brecon, the Beacons, and the Upper Knife Reservoir, which was good. Killer to walk in and out, especially once everything was soaking wet. That was a killer. But it was really good camps. And I want to go there again with a really lightweight setup. So I've got my 1 kilo tent I'll take. It just can't handle too much wind, I don't think. And it's definitely a summer tent. I won't tell you what it is, but it's a surprise for next year, for this year. Or I guess I could take the Lanshan because I'm taking poles anyway, hiking poles. So either of those is a kilo. That's not a problem. Obviously in the summer I can use my ice flame quilt rather than the Zenbivy quilt, which is quite a little bit lighter and less bulk. So yeah, I think I can do a nice lightweight camp down there now. And it may be the case that I use Royal Mountain Pack in the summer, where I don't need the extra space. I don't know yet. We'll see how I get on with this Snake Charlie one. Oh. Yeah, whatever. Stop moaning, birds. You can shout all you want. Yeah, I think I've dialed in the sleep system as far as the quilts are concerned now. When I started, prior to doing the YouTube videos, I bought a Snug Pack Softy Elite 4 sleeping bag. Quite comfy, but quite restrictive and quite heavy, bulky thing. And I guess I just didn't know any better at that point. I was looking at, army surplus gear and big, bulky, heavy, industrial, I'm not going to get cold type stuff, without really looking at it properly. Because all these wild camps are a combination of what the weather's going to do, what the location is that you're going to go to, how far away is it from the car, is it going to be windy, is it going to rain, is it going to be windy and rain or snow, is it going to be baking hot? All these things you have to think about when you want to organise yourself a camp. I guess you could take the same stuff every time. Maybe. But then you'll be lugging winter style gear in summer, and I don't think that's necessary. And the flip side is you need different gear for winter. I couldn't use my full lightweight setup for winter, I don't think. I suppose I could use the quilt with enough clothing. But, yeah. And then swapping from gas to liquid fuel, depending on how I'm going, depending on what I want to eat, if I want to cook a lot of things. I wouldn't cook a steak on this little liquid fuel burner. It would take forever. But if I'm just heating water for a dehydrated meal or coffee or whatever, it's absolutely fine. You don't need to have the extra weight of the canister, gas canister, and a burner. Okay, so when I started, I bought the Fire Maple X2 or X3 star system. So the integrated burner and pot and all that sort of stuff. That was good for a while, but actually it's quite bulky. Takes up a lot of room in your pack, even if it is reasonably lightweight. But it's bulky more than anything else. And I think that's the key thing I've learnt this year is, if you need it, take it. But try and get a less bulky version of whatever it is that you need. You can generally carry a little bit more weight if you need to. But if you haven't got room in your pack for it, or it takes up so much room that you have to leave other stuff behind, you're fooling yourself a bit. Anyway. I'd love to say that this year I want to do some longer walks to different spots, and maybe I will. I definitely want to go down to Llynbrian, up in the middle of the Cambrians. Not far from here, but realistically there's like one camp spot and it's not very big. I don't know if other people are already there. There's generally 4 or 5 people and they're all there leaning airy and drinking and making a racket, so it's not ideal. Not ideal for a winter camp anyway. What I might, a weekend camp. Not ideal for a weekend camp. But it might be fine for a midweek. I might just take a couple of days off middle of the week some point in the summer and go and camp on the off chance that there's no one there. I'd love to go up North Wales again, maybe up into the Rhinogs. But I can't, I don't want, at the moment I cannot walk that far away from the car. I can't do 3, 4, 5 mile hikes up in the mountains, it's just silly. And ideally, one day, I'd like to do Scotland. But again, that wouldn't be walking very far, it would be driving somewhere and pitching up a few hundred yards away, I expect. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see what the year brings. Ooh. Let's see what the temperature gauge says now. Yeah, man. Yeah, still falling 2.3 degrees. I think it's just resetting itself from being in the house more than anything else. So yeah, it's still cold. 4 o'clock now. So a year ago, I was here with a Van Gogh tent and a fire pit, and it was frosty then too. Funny little memory to pocket up. So yeah, I'm quite glad that I've moved. I've changed tents. I probably bought too many tents last year, if that such a thing exists. But they've all got different uses. You know, this is the beast. If it's going to be stupidly cold, stupidly wet, or stupidly windy, out comes the Nor tent. Which sort of dictates where you go as well, but that's okay. The 3FUL tie hang max that I used a couple of camps ago, or last camp I think it might have been. That's more of a, I need a little bit of room to move tent. It's quite large, it's not too heavy. But having the extra vestibule space is sort of shoulder season tent, I think. Autumny tent. When you want to be nice and enclosed, but you need a little bit more room because you need a little bit more gear. So you have a slightly bigger pack, and you might have a chair and a table and that sort of stuff with you as well. So yeah, I think that's what that one before. Obviously, good old faithful OEX Fox 2 V2 lightweight, go anywhere tent, stealth tent. You can pitch that pretty much anywhere. Doesn't have a massive footprint. Doesn't have a massive amount of room either, but it works. It's a good little tent. And then yet to see the Lanshan, and yet to see the other new tent that I bought, but I'm not going to tell you what that is. You haven't seen the Cosmito, because that was the year before I started filming. I used that. So I can get that back out again, and we'll see that this year. And then we've got a couple of family type tents, a Eurohike Avon, and a 3-man Coleman tent, that generally my daughter uses. I think that's it. Oh, and then the bivvy. I do have, and actually it was one of my first purchases when I started camping again. I had a snug pack bivvy Stratosphere, but it's very small, very tiny. I can get in it, I can use it. It's not that comfortable, it's not that warm. It's waterproof enough with a tarp over you. I guess it's nice enough in a a location where you don't have to worry about mozzies and flying things. You've got a little bit of space, but not that much space, and it's nice and dry and nice and warm. Be good, and I might take it out again. I was up in the planted forests with that one. Again, that was before I started filming. But yeah, you don't have much room in there. So yeah, there's some new tents that you can see without me having to buy another one. I think the sun's definitely down behind the mountain now. You can definitely feel that drop. I think it's time to get the tent set up. Get it all sorted out and warm. Might put the down trousers on and that sort of stuff. Get ready to have some food. Yeah, let's do that. So I was speaking earlier about the cloud inversion. Fog, I suppose you could call it fog, but I think it's a cloud inversion. Not sure how well this camera will pick it up, but the entire valley is covered. That's pretty cool. Right. Alright, well, it's only just gone 4-ish, I think. Let's have a look. 4:20. The problem is, it's cold. And there's no point sitting there getting cold. Well, you can just get in your bag. Pretty cool. And get warm. So, I've got my down gear on. I'm going to put some gloves on in a minute. Might shut my eyes for a little while. Have a cheeky nap. We'll see. What time is it? About 20 to 6 now. I'm going to get some food going. It's pretty cold, so I'll get some food in. That'll help warm. Yeah, awesome. Because it's so cold, the batteries aren't staying charged. They're just plain silly buggers now. Anyway, we'll see how we get on. I'm heating some water, trying to heat some water. Oh, GoPro. Batteries are 60-odd%. It just cuts out because of the cold. Not 64% we're on. Anyway, it's pretty cold. It's warmer in here than it is out there. As per normal, especially with now I'm heating some water up. Oh. It's getting quite nice. I'm on a little bit of a slope, unfortunately. Oh well. Let me just readjust this pot. Alright, so I'm on a dehydrated meal tonight. I've got the real Termat reindeer stew finally. I've no idea what it's going to turn out like. I'm hoping it tastes more meaty than it does veggie, but we'll see. I do also have a chocolate pudding, a fire pot chocolate pudding as well. If I get cold, or if I get hungry rather. Like these, which you can't see because of the light. There we go, one of those. Hot chocolate pudding. I'm sure that'll be fine. Just get something warm in and then crawl back into bed and read my book for a bit, I think. Right, well, that's that made. It's in my the warming pouch thing, also AliExpress I think. 8 minutes to rehydrate, sorry, in theory. Theory being the opposite word, Can't speak tonight. Yeah. I'm hoping it's tasty. If not, I'll do the chocolate pudding instead, but we'll see. I'll bring you back in 8 minutes. Right, well, there it is. I'm not sure you can see much in there, but there we are. It looks warm, stewy. Give it a try. It's pretty tasty. It's not a billion miles from the beef and potato one, a little bit more taste. Sort of, as always with these meals, the meat doesn't really rehydrate very well, but that's quite tasty. And warm, more importantly. I'm going to stuff my face. Catch a minute. Okay, real Termat reindeer stew. Definitely recommend. Really tasty. As I said, the meat doesn't really rehydrate properly, but it never does. But the rest of it, really, really good. Absolutely. Very expensive, it's about 17 quid or something ridiculous, but very worthwhile. Good meal. I enjoyed that a lot. Right, time to hot chocolate maybe. Right, battery issues. These batteries are hopeless in the cold. I'm just doing a quick hot chocolate. It's about 9:45 now, something like that. I've been laying down. What I had noticed is that I hadn't pumped up the mat quite hard enough. It's quite a sticky intake valve, so if you do purchase one of these, give the valve a bit of a prod. I don't think the Flextail pump could really open the valve very well, and that's why I didn't get enough air in there. Anyway, all sorted now. Hot chocolate. Smart, managed to burn my fingers a little bit on the hot pot because I wasn't watching what I was doing, and I managed to tip a little bit of the hot chocolate powder into the tent because I wasn't watching what I was doing. Can I have hot chocolate? I'm going to read. Well, that's quite late now. I didn't really film this morning at all. Wasn't in the mood. Try that again. Batteries died yet again. They're useless in the cold. Yeah, so I've just been laying here. It's not early, it's not too late. I've just been napping and reading my book. Bit of a headache this morning. But yeah, I know I need to get up and get packed up, head back home. Suppose I better do that now. Just packing stuff away now. The Cedar Summit loft pillow was not too bad. Kept trying to escape, but it wasn't too bad at all. Junction with the Flextail does the trick. So the Highlander R11. What do we say? Now, I was very warm from the mat side. I didn't feel any cold spots on the mat at all. It's as comfortable as the Rapid SL. Take that for how you like it. One thing, you do have to get the inflation level right. This end of the bag cover, well, as you might expect, that stayed on for about 5 minutes until I rolled over and it was gone. So I might be able to find a way of securing it a bit harder, but better to the quilt, but basically rubbish. That's okay. Oh, there we are, all packed up. Now with a quick check on the ground. All good. Leave no trace. That was a terrible pitch there.